soldier who can't afford a dinner. What about the old people freezing in the winter? More and more children living in poverty, and the government give our cash away. It don't make sense to me. Gandalf, put him in charge of the nation. Gandalf, he'll fix immigration. Gandalf, he'll put us back on track. Send him down to Dover to send the buggers back. Gandalf, put him in charge of the nation. Gandalf, he'll fix immigration. Gandalf, oh, it'll be a famous day. We'll stick him on the cliffs at Dover and let the old sod say. You shall not pass! Call me.
You there, Nathan?
Hello. Yes, I'm here.
Well, we're on, so we've gone live, so
Oh.
we're going to start us
Hello,
off.
people. Yeah, well, quickly, welcome to another Constitutional Movement Worldwide Live. Many topics I believe we want to speak to about tonight, and we go. I believe you started off on Facebook earlier.
Yeah.
There's quite a few things. I mean, obviously, there's still the main one, which we're constantly fighting for, but there's many others out there, and as Gary quite rightly pointed out earlier, now one of the main aims of the Constitutional Movement Worldwide, and the reason why we have groups in Australia, Canada, America, and a few other countries, is because we want to unite people under the Constitution. We want the world and as many people as that we can get to stand up and take down the tyranny. The tyranny is worldwide. It's not just within our streets. It's not just within our government. It's worldwide. And people need to understand this. So if you would please, Gary, would you start off with some of the bits you were saying earlier on?
Yeah, just basically saying that, you know, we've got to unite. This Lisbon Treaty is very, very important. And people, it's just going over people's heads at the moment. And what we've got to do, we've got to sort of wake the whole, not just Britain, but the whole of the Commonwealth up to what's actually going on. Because these people don't care about sovereignty. They don't care about about your nationalism. They don't care about common law. They don't care about democracy. All they care about is the New World Order and pushing that agenda on. And they're going to either take it in peacefully or they'll take it in kicking and screaming. The choice is yours, basically, in their eyes.
Pretty much. I mean, look at, like you said earlier, look at France. Look what's happening now. I mean, they started off, I think it was referendum, then tax, and then it's just moved on and on and on. The more they know, the more they're out in the street protesting.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we have a media that is linked to our government, that are linked to certain things by the City of London, that keep information from us. They keep us in the dark, so therefore we don't have a choice. We don't know, so therefore we can't make a choice. We have no liberty in that way.
Yeah. And like I said, you've only got to look what they're doing in Australia with the bushfires. I mentioned it just on my live alone, where they used to have a burn back policy where the scorched off of the earth for about a quarter of a mile or half a mile. So when the bushfire hit that, it couldn't go any farther because there was a buffer between that and the next lot of trees. But now they're not doing that. They've banned them from doing it. So now it can just burn the whole forest down.
Well, this is the thing. This has been going since Aboriginal times. I mean, the Aborigines was using burn downs to control forest and forest fires for thousands of years, as far as I'm aware. And this is what I don't understand. All their knowledge, everything was absolutely, completely ignored by, I believe it was an initiative from the Greens. They decided that burn backs weren't right, so they need to stop. And this is where we get what you're saying about the burn backs stopping and the fires then being able to jump. It's like in say we can relate to ours actually is the City of London. If everyone has ever read about the City of London, the Great Fire of London, we demolished whole rows of houses and streets, and it wasn't until we realised that we had to clear the debris that we realised that it was what you call a firewall, a fire breach. The fire could not breach it, so therefore the fire couldn't keep going any further, and that's exactly what's happening with these when they burn the underbrush. That they are getting rid of the bits where the fire can spread through. It's common sense, and the Aboriginals have been telling these since the dawn of time. They've been doing it since the dawn of time. That they're probably the best people to manage the forest. So I don't know why they're not in the jobs, but
yeah,
there we go.
And like I said to them on there as well, they don't realise. Well, a lot of Australians probably don't even realise that all the reservoirs, the rivers, everything's all been sold off to the Chinese. So when the fire brigade do turn up to put the fires out, they can't put the houses in the water because it doesn't belong to them. They get big fines now.
Exactly, private property.
Yeah.
I mean, I do believe we have something in this country where the fire brigade can actually just get water in emergency and get water from near enough anywhere. But in Australia, I don't believe we have that. I believe it's classed as foreign land. I'm not sure, but I know the Chinese have brought up majority of Australia already. And I know it's the Chinese that I believe is the reason why water is being diverted. Farmers are not getting water in Australia because the water is being diverted for the use of people like Nestle and things like that in what they're doing. So basic natural agriculture in Australia is being diminished and destroyed on purpose, I would say.
Well,
and again, the people have the Magna Carta. Again, the people have the Magna Carta. They have many parts of their constitution which aids them to fight against these things. This is why we have groups in Australia. This is why we help our brothers and sisters in Australia to try and somehow fight the system themselves. So this is what we've all got to do.
Yeah.
To quote a little thing from bushfires, if we start, not literally, but if we are going up against the governments around the world and we're starting loads of little fires everywhere with the governments, they're not going to be able to put them all out. No. Eventually, they will be overwhelmed. It's like we keep saying in this country. As much as you want to demonstrate this much thing, the best thing you can do and the quickest way to bring this government to heel would be to withdraw the money. Remove the money you pay the government. Remove the money you give them that they then use to oppress you with.
Yeah, because the other thing that obviously we've got our group in Australia, we're talking to them, is that the farmers get no help whatsoever, mate. No help whatsoever. They don't get no concessions, nothing, no water. No. The sweet FA, they basically go.
Legislation actually goes against them rather than help them. This is what we find. It's atrocious.
So, Australia need to get behind this. And what you don't realise, what everybody doesn't realise, if the sooner we all wake up and get behind it, the sooner we can get rid of that terrible treaty that's going to tie everybody to the New World Order forever. And this is what,
this is what a lot of people don't seem to understand. It's yes, we vote for Brexit and they think we're going to get Brexit, but we can make a deal, i.e. in the negotiations or after the fact, that tie us to the EU forever. People think just because leaving UK is enshrined in law does not mean that we're going to be doing it in its entirety. This is what we keep trying to explain to people, because you can agree international treaties without being in something like the European Union,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean that you're not tied to that treaty and every single law in that treaty.
Yeah.
This is what people need to understand.
And
They
this is
give with one hand, they take away with another.
And this is why I said it should be a big red flag when he's saying, oh, we should be out by the 31st of January, but it could be up until December. No, if it takes up until December, we're finished because the Lisbon Treaty will kick in and there's no veto.
And we do not want the ECA 1973 to be there. We want it voided. We don't rescind it, we want it voided. We want the whole thing voided. That's what we want. People keep sort of saying, oh yeah, but all it does is put it aside. It means it can be brought back at any time. It means we can relate to it and bring it back in. No, void it. It means like it never happened. It means we can't just, it means if we want to, if another government want to try and put us back in the European Union, it means if we void it, they're going to have to start from ground zero yet again and build it all up with us. People don't understand this.
And then we can put things in place where they actually got to ask us and not do it by stealth next time. That's the thing. And then, like, that's like with the Australians, and then you move on to what's happening in Canada with Trudeau. Somebody on my live was saying it sounds fishy, it's dodgy. It don't seem right that he got in the way he did, because everybody in there, Trudeau in Canada is like Corbyn over here, and you know this. So how he's got in for the second term, if it's not fixed, is beyond me. And the Canadians need to wake up to this.
Yeah,
and pretty fast.
It's not sort of conspiracy theory. The governments around the world are all getting ready for one thing. We know this. They're already trying to disband sovereignty throughout the world. I mean, that should be a red flag to everybody. Why is it that they want sovereignty but we're not allowed it? I don't understand that. Just have a think about that. Why is it so detrimental that they have it and we don't? What's so bad about us having it?
Because they don't want you to have any powers. They want you to just be slaves. They want you to be good little chattel.
Which, as I say, if you don't know you've got rights, then you have none, because you have no way of enacting them. You have no way of standing up and using your rights, so therefore you have no rights, which is part of what we do at Constitutional Movement Worldwide, in Australia, America, everywhere. We try to protect people of their rights, their freedoms, their liberties. This is what we need to start learning.
South Africa, what's going on in South Africa is disgraceful. People and the animal cruelty around the world is abominable. That's because they've bred out our empathy and our compassion as people. You know, years ago, if you've seen somebody, for talking time, pick a little dog up in the street and slit his throat, you'd go berserk. You'd probably want to kick the shit out of that person. But now it happens, and people walk past and don't bat an eyelid. Oh, well, he's just killed that dog. And that's it.
People are probably more worried about the prosecution now get for stopping the person than the person would get for actually doing it. And we see a lot of that. See a lot of that.
Yeah. And this is what we're saying. We've got to get this empathy and compassion for ourselves, animal, the whole lot back. We've got to remove social services in this country. It's got to go.
Well, I don't believe because we should remove it, but we should make a model that's independent. What I'm saying is,
you don't let me finish, Nate. It's got to go. It's got to be replaced with something, the similar thing, but that's what you've just said, regulated properly and run properly. But social services, as it stands at the moment, has got to go. It's not good. It's not doing the job it's been put there for.
It's what you call not fit for purpose.
Yes. There's got to be some protection for the children.
We're already seeing many cases now where social workers in court have been found out to be lying, fabricating evidence, falsifying paperwork. I mean, this is becoming ridiculous. I mean, most people understand that there is a cash for kids scam literally going across the world. Again, this is the reason why we do mention our overseas brothers and sisters, because it's the same thing that's happening in the same place, just in different places. There is cash for kids. Social services get more money for kids they take and put into care than they would do helping a child in situ. This is well known. I mean, most councils get on average between £4,000 and I think it's £12,000 per child. I think it's per month. I think it is.
I mean, you know,
if that child had that money before it went into a home, that child probably wouldn't have to have the life it did. The child probably wouldn't go off the rails like it had. I mean, there's a lot of things that, I mean, that money could be, prevention is better than cure.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're throwing a hell of a lot of money at things once the problem's already there and it's nigh impossible to fix. And this is where we see the corruption coming in.
Yeah. And that's what we're saying, Victoria. It's got to be replaced, but something's got to be put there in its place and set up so it can be transferred over smoothly, but get rid of the corrupt, tyrannous social services. It's got the correct initials anyway, SS. Very appropriate initials. But we've seen with ourselves with Mark and Cara. Armour, Mark and Cara Armour. They've gone through shit, and it's just not on, mate.
I mean, social services is church services just by a different name. The practices are almost exactly the same. It's ridiculous.
And it's just to remove your children because, well, you know why they remove children. We don't need to tell you. But that's why they do it, guys. And like I said, with Trudeau and then moving on to Trump in America, we don't know whether Trump is the real deal or not. But the one thing he is doing is saying all the right things, doing all the right things at the moment. And because he's been impeached, that should be another big red flag for anybody who's for democracy.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that is a big red flag that they're impeaching him. And then they're going to the lengths they are to impeach him. I mean, it looks more like they've got something to hide than they're trying to dig up. If you get what I mean? It's ridiculous.
The reason I think he's been impeached is that no, he's not going to be impeached because when it goes to the Senate, there's more Republicans in the Senate than there are Democrats. So they ain't going to want to get rid of their own, but they've done it to give themselves time to get rid of any incriminating evidence they may have. They've done it to give themselves a breathing off period because it stops Trump doing what he wants to do at the moment because he's got to answer these allegations, and it gives them time to get rid of the evidence. If there's any bad evidence against them, it gives them a chance to get rid of it. That's why I think it's been done. No other reason. To get rid of the incriminating evidence.
Sorry, bear with me, I'm just reading that. Bear with me, people.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm just saying, just because we keep getting some questions asked by James West. James West, we keep telling you, okay, there is something we have that basically it protects us against any form of tyranny, whether it be from Parliament or the Crown, really. And that is Article 61. That is a security clause within our Constitution. This has been quite widely said. Most people know about this now. People's refusal to enter into it and do something about it is what's actually stopping it. So this is a problem. I mean, it's still going. More and more people are getting into the clause, the signed declaration. These things will happen. But like we say, if you want something to happen, it is going to happen at a very boring level, I'm afraid. It's going to be things like stopping your TV licence, stopping your council tax. Like we keep saying, stop giving the government the money. They'll soon come to heel. Trust me. They'll soon come to heel because if the money's not flowing in, then they haven't got their bar bill, they haven't got their transport bill, they've got nothing. So like I said, the way the people can act is to remove the money. There is certain things we can do. And I truly believe once we start doing this, once we start showing the Barons Committee, for instance, that the people are now standing up, we are acting, we are doing what we constitutionally and lawfully need to do under Article 61, the Barons then can start coming on board and acting with us. We can act on their behalf as well. But like I said, people are actually going to need to start getting off their backside and start doing this. You've got a solution, you just haven't tried it. Everyone keeps saying, but
Yeah.
you're in lawful rebellion, nothing's been done. The electoral lawful rebellion protects you from any future prosecutions whilst you're actually ending the tyranny. So to say that shows you've never even read Article 61. So like I said, and the reason why we're trying to do things in a certain way is we're trying to get as many people protected as possible before the fact. So for all those people keep saying, oh, you've got a solution, where is it, what you're doing? We are doing it. But unfortunately, the solution is not some big dramatic stage event in the streets of London. It's not. It's quite simply some basic bits of paperwork and saying no. But
and don't forget as well, James is saying stick to one thing. We are sticking to one thing. That's what we're saying to you. With the Commonwealth, we're sticking to one thing because the Lisbon Treaty will affect every single person in the Commonwealth. So we're trying to wake the Commonwealth up to, it's not just here when the Lisbon Treaty kicks in next year that's going to be screwed. It's every single person who's signed up for that Lisbon Treaty will be in exactly the same boat. You won't have a veto. That's us, Australia, Canada, New Zealand. You won't have a veto to get back out of it. No, just like we were. That's what we're trying to wake up.
And the end of this year is where the last straws of our sovereignty and power are drawn away from us and put to the 15 unelected, accountable bureaucrats. Like I said, this is why we keep saying now. We need to just now take the money away now. Take the money away now. Let's stop this government, but people won't do it. And you say, James West, about like the Carnival event. Yes, like the Carnival event. Yes, exactly like the Carnival event, mate. Okay? The Carnival event, we didn't know it was going to be like that. We were just there to serve some papers to do something. But for your information, if you do a bit of research, barristers, MPs, quite a few prominent people tried bringing Sadiq Khan to account, tried getting him removed from his job, etc. And no one got anywhere near as far as even an investigation. Yet us, a group of 8 people with about 20 in all that was waiting outside and around the event, went in, and we're the only ones that actually managed to get the London Mayor investigated. So yes, James West, exactly like the Sadiq Khan thing. If you do it properly and the people back it, unfortunately, you've got to trip over on the same thing when you keep saying the same questions, James West. It's going to be, well, did you send a letter? Did you back it? No, you didn't. Therefore, how can you expect it to work? If people back it, and there is an overwhelming majority of the public that wants something done, something will be done. That is a fact of the matter. So unfortunately, you can throw as many questions like that as possible. It doesn't matter. The answer is going to be the same. The weight of the people. Are you on here trying to just pick bones at something which you've already been answered, or are you out there trying to convince people of the right way to go and a way to end this tyranny, a way they can actually take the power back into their hands? That would be my question back to you, James West.
Well, the thing is, instead of ripping a piece off us, what they should be doing, instead of coming on here ripping a piece off us, is going out there saying, well, you do know Sadiq Khan is under investigation. It's still got over another year left because it's only been 2 years this January coming. So you got another 12 months after January. It doesn't end until January the 13th, 2021. So you've still got over 12 months to go and complain and get that really looked at. If people don't do it, you can't come on here criticising us because we actually went and did the hard work. We went in there, put him on notice. We put him on, well, not put him on notice. We got him citizens arrested for subverting the Constitution, and all the charges was there. Now, we've done the hard part. It's down to the people now to back that up and make sure the police carry it through and investigate those allegations, what we put in. We can't do no more. 8 people can't make the police do it anymore. They can make the police accept the allegation, which we did. Yeah. But then it's down to people power, like you've said, Nathan. It's down to people power. And if the people don't get behind it, it won't get investigated. And that's as simple as it is. But don't come in here slating us. We can't do no more.
And I need to stress one more thing as well, because a lot of people under this illusion, just because we say we're leaving the EU, that the Lisbon Treaty ends. Yes, in a way, yes, and not a way, no. The Lisbon Treaty may end for us, yes, but if you watch mine and Gary's last live feed, we read out Theresa May's deal. What she proposed would be the relationship between the EU and Britain after we left. Okay, and that's the clue you've got to get. The relationship we'll have with the EU after we've left. And that
no different.
And that was no different. It gave over military unification. It gave over money. It basically says we didn't need to veto. It says a lot. So basically, yes, by law, when we leave the EU, we are technically should not be accountable to any of the treaties. But if our government then, in the process of leaving, agrees that yes, but we'll still abide by this, and that, yes, by the way, yes, it abides by law. And this is what we're trying to stop. And this is why we're trying to get people on the same page. Not just here, across the world, because this Lisbon Treaty is going to affect many, many, many countries. Not just England, Scotland, Ireland and Wales. This is going to affect many countries. Many countries are going to be affected by this. Many generations, in fact, are going to be basically...
To me, Nathan, this is that important, how I see it, this Lisbon Treaty and that. When Boris done his withdrawal agreement, I think that should have been beamed live from the Commons, from the House of Commons. It should have been beamed live on the Parliament channel and on Sky, because they love putting out live stuff. And that should have been beamed live so we could hear it firsthand what that bill entails.
Mm-hmm.
What that withdrawal act, bill, whatever it is, entails. Not, oh, well, they've agreed Boris's deal. Well, what's the fucking deal then? Because nobody's told us what it is. Is it the same as May? Has he altered it? Is he just tweaked it a little bit? Let's see it.
Exactly, this is what I keep saying. As far as I'm aware from what I can find out, it's basically May's deal, just he's tweaked it slightly. The fundamentals, the main crutch of it, i.e. with the military unification, that's why you see Boris saying things like, we need to support the EU army after Brexit. It's because they already agreed to this. I mean, like we said, the Lisbon Treaty and the bits with the PESCO, the military unification, that lot, as we pointed out in our last live, Gary, it's already been signed up to by all 27 countries. Us leaving puts a bit of spanner in the works there because they needed us for a lot of the spending money. But our government, behind our backs, are actually agreeing a deal where we will be tied to the EU through the back door.
Yeah.
And we need to stand up now. We need to stop this.
And this is why I think now he's been given the majority, and Boris should just say, without 31st of January, no deal, WTO rules. Simple. He knows now he's got the backing. He knows now he's got the backing of the majority of the people. It showed him that in the election.
But what is he going to be thinking? Is he got the backing of the majority of the people to just force his deal through, May's deal? Because that's what he can do. Or is he going to look at the backing of the majority of the people and think, right, well, most people want a new deal. This is where, people, we cannot sit on our laurels. We need to push and push and push and make sure that Downing Street know full well that we want a no deal. We do not want tying to the EU at all. My best case scenario would be completely, if they're that great and they want to work with us, fine. We completely cut ties. Then they can make us an offer. And if it sounds like it's a good offer that we help them out and they help us, then we might do it. But until then, no deal, come out straight away. No backdoor deals. You don't tie us to the EU unwillingly. Because like I said, it's treason. It's going against, that is still treason. Their agreement to have our armed forces and everything under the control of the European Union, i.e. the Commission, is treason. There's no two ways about it. And this is why the people, we've got to make more of a noise now than we ever have. This is not a time, and they've done it on purpose on top of Christmas. We need to make a noise. We need to, people say, oh no, it's boring, but we need to literally just bombard Downing Street with letters, bombard everywhere you can with letters saying, I'm not happy about this. I'm complaining about this. Let's make their lives a living hell. Let's make them struggle. Because while we just sit on here and moan about it on Facebook and other places like that, they're not too bothered. It's only when official paperwork goes in and they're pushed to act that they will actually act. And we see that with Sadiq Khan. They had to be pushed to act before they would. And even then, they're fighting tooth and nail to try and stop it because they don't want to do it.
Yeah. The only way we're going to do this is with the numbers. We've got to do it lawfully, yes, but you still need the numbers, because if we just go down there, a little few people, yes, we will do after Christmas, we'll prove the Constitution works, i.e. we can do things lawfully without any repercussions on yourself. But they ain't going to listen. But they're not going to listen because there's not enough people. It's just a handful of people. What you've got to do is do the same thing with the same charges and everything. You are committing treason. Remove yourself from that building, you're finished. But you've got to have all that paperwork in hand and you've got to have the masses standing with you. That's what you've got to have. They're not going to listen to anything else because they don't care about democracy unless that the numbers prove. Because they'll just say, well, that's just your age. You've got all the correct details, but that's just your. Even if we had a group of 10,000 people in our movement, they'll say, well, that's just 10,000 people's opinion. The rest of the country's still with us. That's why we keep saying the masses have got to get down there and back the people who are doing this en masse.
Basically,
it's not going to be done in another way, Nathan.
I mean, we're not going to be doing that, but we are going to be doing an action in the new year, and we'll ask people if you do want to join in. Period clothing would be nice, sort of in a 1600 sort of thing. We've got a plan. So if you'd like to get yourself a period costume, that would be greatly received. We'd love to see you down there doing that. So just have that in mind, please. You've got until January to get one. But it should be fun, and it should. Well, we've got a couple of things we'll be doing. So please stay tuned.
We are going to be doing it. Oops, sorry, Lisa, I've just pressed on here to go and look at the, I'm just flicking on this other phone to look at the comments, and I've just deleted, it says I've deleted one of Lisa's comments and timed it out for 30 seconds. So sorry about that, Lisa. I didn't do it deliberately, darling.
James, well, we have tried talking to the vets. Honestly, mate, we have. We tried giving them some information. We tried doing our best by them, but they're going their way. We're getting attacked in some groups by certain people. I don't know if it's all the vets, some of the vets we don't know at the moment, but in the situation of the vets, I have no idea what's going on at the moment. So they seem to be, so even though they seem to understand common law and the Constitution is a tool and needs to be used, I don't believe they're going anywhere near in the way of aligning with us or anything like that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, a lot's been going on lately in that way, but I don't know, to tell the truth, mate.
Yeah. But yeah, it's down to everybody, every individual in the Commonwealth. If you love your children and you want your future back for your own particular country, you've got to get behind the movements. Because if you don't, come the end of 2020, you won't have the chance to do it again, because everything will be vetoed, they'll outlaw everything. Going marching on the street will be classed as an act of terrorism. It'll be classed as treason. But the thing is, they're going to bring it back in the Lisbon Treaty, as you know, Nathan.
Well,
but only for us. Only for us, not for them. But for us to be charged with treason under the Lisbon Treaty, we can still be hung. Death penalty for treason, but only from their side to us, not the other way around. And if that ain't another red flag for people, I don't know what is. That they brought the death penalty back, treason act back, but only for the peasants, not for the elites.
I'll just say something. No, James, mate, please don't feel thingy. Everybody's frustrated, James, mate. We all are, like I said, but this is a problem. A lot of people have spent a lot of time now, I think, focusing their views and their attentions on people that talk about the problem a lot, seem to be sort of getting out there, but don't really do any of the solutions. Trying to get people to actually act on the solutions is harder than people think, especially when the solutions can be so simple. Most people just want to sort of like give money to a GoFundMe and think that they've done a good deed and it's in the hands of somebody else and they don't have to worry. Well, unfortunately, this is why we're here telling you. We all have to worry, because this affects all of us. So if we all don't start acting, I can assure you it's going to affect all of us.
No, James, don't worry about it, mate. At the end of the day, you ain't the only one. You want to see me sometimes on my live feeds. I get proper pissed off and frustrated with life, because I just feel like I'm banging my head on the wall. I ain't getting through to anybody. But hopefully we are. And we've got to keep going. But don't you worry, James. We don't bear any malice. We know what people are going through, just like we do. So don't worry about it, mate. We ain't going to blast you for it, mate.
Exactly, and it's not just that, James, mate. Be able to come on here and voice your opinion on actually helps a lot of people. A lot of people say, because they get to say it out loud. They get to actually speak to people. You'll find people who think and feel the same as you that you can talk to. And it's not just that. without you saying your piece, how do we know what people think? How do we have a gauge about society? How do we move on to make sure society is going to be doing the right thing if we don't have people voice their opinions? And this is what they're trying to stop. This is the freedom of speech stopping. But we need to have this more.
Yeah. But yeah, we welcome it, James, and we're glad you're here. We hope we can help, and we hope you're seeing what we say, because it is important that everybody gets this message the right way, and that the Lisbon Treaty will be kicking in next year without a doubt. And once it does, that's the end of the country. Once that kicks in, Brexit's never going to happen, because they've got the veto. We ain't got a veto to get out of it. Simple as.
And James,
I think that's why Boris is delaying it, mate. I really do. I don't trust Boris.
No, I don't. I
don't trust him.
They're all the same. They all work for the same people. There's no one different in it. That's what I can't understand about it. Well, that's why I say I do away with the whole thing and put back the lawful parliament it should be. James, we have tried doing things like roadshows, so bits like that. We don't have GoFundMes. We don't have funding. Our movement works basically off of good-hearted people doing whatever the best they can. We have tried on numerous occasions. If we could, maybe we could have another attempt to maybe do some demonstrations in towns, do a bit of a roadshow. But what it would mean people coming together, basically using everybody's resources to make this pull off. And that's unfortunately what we need. And you don't get too many of that people coming forward and wanting to help in that way.
Yeah. Yes, that's correct, James. You're 100% correct. People have got to lose the fear. You've got to lose the fear, mate. Everybody's got to lose the fear, because while you fear them, and what people don't get is they fear us more than we fear them, because there's 649 of them in that parliament, plus the elite families that run them. And with all the armies and that they can muster up, like this country, there's only 80,000 army, 40,000 police, etc. That's 120,000. About 125,000 tops on their side. The 60 odd million of us, if we lose our temper, they know where the odds are. They're just banking on we won't do that. We ain't going to lose our temper that badly. That's what they're banking on.
Well, this is the thing. This is why New Year, as we said before, New Year we're coming back. We've sorted a lot of things out behind the scenes, which will be coming to fruition in the new year. So like James, you say you've got bits. I've got a sound system, so we can do a PA. We've all got various bits. We need to start getting these things organised. So we're going to try and maybe organise an events team for New Year, so we can start coming out and doing things, getting ourselves out there, getting the message out there. Let's start changing things, people.
Yeah, and it can be done if we can get people and spread this message, positive message, because it is still a positive message we're spreading. It's not all doom and gloom. It is if we don't do the right thing. Yeah. As long as we all wake up and do the right thing, we can win this. There ain't a problem.
Hope, yeah. Exactly. There is hope at the end of the tunnel, and it can be achieved quite simply in a lot of cases. Just people need to be able to, like James just said, lose the fear. Lose the fear, because you're going to lose either way. You can either lose a little now, or you can lose a lot later on. Make that choice.
Yeah. We've said all along, and I'll stand by it. If everybody, I'm sorry about that, Lisa. What I did, darling, I was flicking up, reading the messages, and I touched the screen by mistake, and I deleted one of your messages, and it timed you out. So it's my fault. Sorry.
Yes, you're back, sorry, Lisa. Don't worry.
Yeah. But yeah, so what it was, like I've said all along, all it's going to take is the people to actually get up one morning and go, right, today's the day. And if you can get the masses down London for one day, and I mean the 17.4 million who are pissed off, who voted Brexit, this country's ours. 100%.
Exactly. So,
and that's peacefully. I don't mean go down there with clubs and batter the shit out. I'm just talking about the sheer mass of people. The sheer mass of people with the correct document paperwork get this country back.
Yep, true words, James. Lose the fear or lose all. And that's what we're looking at now. We're either going to lose a little now, or we're going to lose a lot later on. And when I mean a lot, it means all, and that means for our future generations as well. And we can't stress it enough. And most people think it's conspiracy or doom and gloom, but that is what we're staring down the barrel of. So this is the time where we need to act. And I think after some of what's been said in chat and that, I think we will be looking into trying to compile an events team. So I'm going to ask anybody. I'm blocked, basically. I'm not allowed. Facebook hate me. They've now extended my ban on going live for the 3rd time. So it's now I'm not allowed to go live till I think it's February 2020. And I'm on a 30-day ban from Messenger and Facebook. So anybody who's got anything that could help, i.e. equipment-wise, van, equipment, anything like that, or want to help with it, to become part of the events team and organise us getting places and actually getting this information out there, can you please contact Gary?
Yeah. You're going to lose me knife because I've got 3% battery left. So I'm going to have to go. I'll be in the comments on the other one.
Well,
on this one, I've got...
It's getting a bit late, so on that note, we'll knock on the head and we'll try and do another one in the next day or two.
I'm saying because my battery's down to 3%, it's just going to go bing in a minute, and I ain't going to be able to do nothing about it.
Our apologies, people. A lot of it is me. I was running a hell of a lot late tonight. There's loads of things I had to get out of the way and sort first. So if you want to blame anyone, blame me. Sorry for the lateness. We will do a longer one next week. We'll be talking a bit more on the solution and the process of the solution we're talking about. So please tune in. Thank everyone for tuning in, and hope you tune in again.
Yeah.
Please get them forms filled in. Let's start taking this country back. Let's start acting. Yeah. Remember, going into lawful bail, enacting your Article 61 form, your declaration, is a direct action in itself. So just by signing the form and sending it off means you are already doing a direct action. So please don't let people sway you or put you down. Just by doing that alone, you're doing more than most people have.
Yeah. So I've got to go now because I'm on 2%. It's just going to go ping in any second now. So I'll speak to you later, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll try and get on before Christmas and do another one. Until then, we'll see you later. Cheers. Thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for your support. It really is much appreciated. We can't get this message out without you guys.
Yep, we definitely can't. It takes each and every one of us, people, each and every one of us. Right, see you later, everyone.
See you later, guys. Bye.
Revolution! But listen to me, people. These words you can't ignore. Today, England needs her sons and her daughters like never before.
I've got to go. My battery's fucking dead. I've got 2%.